Hey guys, so we've had a real unfortunate thing happen. These are the Transformers Micro Machines that came out a few years ago. I actually have had these around for like 2 years, and I'm just now doing a recording of them. And it was fun. I unboxed them. There were some good times. I thought a couple of good jokes, and then the video got corrupted, and I can't use it anymore, which is a real shame. And there's also the fact that my shoulder hurts a lot more and my voice hurts a lot more because I'm doing this after I've already shot some reviews. So this is going from me being at the beginning and having the most energy to me now having the least energy. But please bear with me. I just want to go ahead and re-record this and try to make it work. But here's the box for the Micro Machines, guys. I'm sure you saw them around. Micro Machines is, of course, a toy line from the 80s and 90s. It's where we get the Micro Masters from. It's because people really loved the micro cars. And Transformers has dabbled with these before. Like I said, the Micromasters were a direct response to the Micro Machines. This is the first time we've had proper Transformers Micro Machines to my knowledge, though. And you can see they don't transform. They're just based on the movie vehicle modes, but they're really nice. So you can see Jazz from the 2007 movie. Incredible paint all throughout the toy. Like grills, headlights, even on the back. They got both the brake lights and the turn signals. Like, the sculpting and painting for this is really impressive. When we look at Jetfire, who is Jazz's 2-pack partner, still good paint. The sculpting's a little bit rougher just because the Blackbird is such a thin vehicle and it's hard to make at this scale, but overall, a decent attempt to make that Jet. Elita-1's my favorite one here. It helps that Elita-1's just like my favorite Transformer, but the motorcycle is really nice, incredibly well sculpted, painted, little hits of silver, and then the Cybertronics here. Just really impressive what they were able to do with Elita-1. Now, she came 2-packed with Sideswipe, who's probably my least favorite here just because he's the most boring of the designs, but still, the headlights, the turn signals, everything is still done incredibly well. Look, they even got the little hits of red back here. Really impressed with that. And then we get the Decepticon 2-pack, so I got Blackout here. Blackout is interesting because his propeller spins, but it's also really hard to keep the propellers from just folding back in. And also the sculpting's a little bit soft. I'm glad that they did him. I think it's interesting. But I think that his pack-in partner, Brawl, is so much better. Just look at this, a good, chunky tank. Like, as a kid, I would have loved to have this just as a cool little tank to have with my army men. I really like this. It helps that, the turret actually pivots, which is really, really cool. I do think that the pricing here is kind of weird, because keep in mind, these are the two biggest figures I have out of these six, but they came in the same 2-pack. Meanwhile, Sideswipe and Elita-1 might be the two smallest figures, and they came in a 2-pack together. It's also some weird mixing of movies. Jazz came with Jetfire, even though those two characters would have never even been in the same film together. Even still, I like them overall for what they are. I think that they did some interesting stuff. They got good vehicle modes. Another cool thing is there's a gimmick for the tech spec decoder. So you can see there's this little QR code here on the bottom of these vehicle modes. Let me try to get Jazz in a position. Come on. How did I do this last time? I think I had Brawl, maybe? Yeah, there we go. And then they gave you a tech spec decoder, so you could look. Well, look at that. It's an Autobot. Now, for most of them, you can tell because they have the logos. But then there's a few, like Blackout, where there is no logo. So that'd have been nice if you don't know who Blackout is. However, then there's characters like Jetfire, and this is really smart. He has the scratched out Decepticon logos, but then you look at the tech spec, and what do you know? He's an Autobot. I know that's obvious to people who watch the movies, but that's a nice attention to detail. That's the type of thing where I could imagine in a factory it'd be easy to get those stickers swapped around, but they didn't, and I'm going to praise that. I think the reason these guys didn't do so well is, one, Bayverse is very old. Two, a lot of these vehicle packs were very, very similar. A whole lot of gray sports cars and not a lot of cool variety. I know a lot of lines that are doing stuff like this right now. If you go to a Target, you see a lot more kind of variety in the vehicle modes. A lot of fire trucks, military vehicles thrown in there. And then I think the other big thing really is just they were more expensive. These guys were going for about $8 if I remember right. Whereas if you looked at some of the other mini vehicle sets, you could get a pack of 10 for that price. So I think those are the things that did this line in. But right now, they're going for pennies on the dollar. Extremely cheap. They don't transform. They are tchotchkes more than anything else. But if you're a fan of micro machines, or you like micro vehicles, or maybe you're just a fan of certain characters, this is kind of a cool thing to have, just little mini versions of some of these alt modes. I think that out of all the ones I have here, Elita-1's my favorite, Jazz is my second favorite, Brawl is probably the third. Blackout and Sideswipe I think are the weakest ones here, and then Jetfire is just kind of so-so. They're good little toys. I hate that I lost my original video, but I hope you guys can hear that, like, I think that they were decent for what they were trying to do. At the same time, I understand why they didn't work. It was just too much of an asking price, not enough variety of vehicle modes, and at this point, the people who would be buying these lines are the kids. And kids don't necessarily remember Transformers 2007, or Revenge of the Fallen, or Dark of the Moon. Maybe they should have focused this more on, like, say, Cyberverse, or Earthspark, or even Transformers 1, or Rise of the Beasts. Then maybe this could have worked out a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it was a cool little experiment for a Transformers spin-off line.